is why I hate parties. That was a disaster.
Thank you.
I'm Kurt,
I'm Kevin.
and we're going to talk about the movies of 2023. We're going to tier list them. All right, so you watched the most anime.
Yeah,
I watched a lot of movies this year.
definitely.
Yeah, so I'm going to basically talk about what I will just lovingly call diaspora films.
Okay.
I'm going to start with Joyride and see. It's about a Chinese American adoptee going back to China and trying to find her birth parents, and then all of the awkward hijinks that happen along the way.
Yeah. Would you say for like a road trip comedy movie, how would you? Is it good?
Fine.
It's fine.
It's just
nothing.
fine.
Nothing elevates it.
Yeah, it's fine. Quiz Lady. C.
Alright.
This is another one. Kevin hates Aquafina.
What?
I don't hate Aquafina. It's
Kevin
just
hates Aquafina.
she's just in everything.
Quiz Lady is not a immigration story, which is like one of the best things I can say about it. Shortcomings. See, I've thought about this movie a lot more than the previous two films. This one hit way close to home, and the main character is the biggest asshole on the planet, and so it made me really evaluate how I saw things, because the character is super unlikable, but I saw a lot of myself in him.
Is that on like just a personality thing?
On him being a fucking pretentious cinephile, like it's bad.
See? You're just proving my point.
Riceboy Sleeps. A. It's a really great immigration story. I can understand a lot of people in the diasporas, how they feel like every single Asian American movie has to be an immigration story. The way it's shot is great. The mom, when they first move, the kid's getting bullied, and she's like, "Tell them, do you know Taekwondo?" And then he beats the kids up. It gets suspended, and the mom's like, "You're racist," and the principal's like, "How could I be racist?" It's great. It's great. If you're an Asian American, you know. Past Lives. This is a very untraditional romance story. It's probably going to make the Oscars list for Best Picture. That said B.
Oh, it's a B.
It's a
So-
B.
oh, okay.
I think
thought you said it was
I have issues with a lot of things in the film, personally. I would say that this one is kind of like, it really elevates it because it has one of the best endings that I've ever of the year. Last one, Return to Seoul. I thought this was the better immigration story. I think this is an A. A big criticism a racist criticism of Asian actors is that they cannot show emotion. That is the stereotype and why they don't get cast. The faces she makes, she portrays rage, sadness, melancholy, everything. It's amazing just what she can portray with her face.
Next is John Wick Part 4. I'm going to be honest. I forgot this even came out this year.
That's not a good sign. I'm going to go first. I thought this was a B.
Okay, I thought it was an A. So I think we can put in B. That's
B,
fair.
I think B is fair.
Yeah, I think B is fair.
It's not the best John Wick movie,
No, yeah, I agree.
but it's not the worst John Wick movie.
It's a John Wick movie. It's a well choreographed action.
Yep. Fight
Series.
scenes, awesome.
Yeah.
SISU.
Next, a very John Wick-like movie.
It's about killing Nazis. It's never wrong to kill Nazis.
This one was the one that I was like really excited to see because being a big John Wick fan.
Yep.
For me, this was a B, another B.
Also B.
Yeah.
I agree.
Next,
Mission Impossible.
Dead Reckoning Part 1. Okay.
C.
It's D, honestly.
I agree with D, actually. We can go D.
Yeah.
I'm always okay with the lower rating.
For us, we both loved Fallout.
Yes.
And for this to be the follow-up is very disappointing.
Your choice. You're in or you're out.
The next are two movies that I watched.
Yeah,
they
this-
are sci-fi movies. Aporia is a C.
Oh, really?
It's super interesting concept.
Yeah.
It's about a time machine that's actually a time machine gun that you can fire a particle back in time and kill someone.
So it's essentially Death Note.
I guess kinda. Yeah, I guess kinda. The dialogue was choppy. I love Judy Greer. I really hope that she gets more leading roles.
Yes, it's me.
Payman Mondi too is great. He was in A Separation. Really choppy dialogue that dragged it down in my opinion. The creator F.
Really?
I just like, bro, it's funny because I was talking with my buddy in Japan. He just watched this. And he was like, I don't really understand where it took place. He's like, is it Vietnam? Why is there like kanji everywhere?
Yeah.
Katakana. Gareth Edwards is a weeb. But not in a good way. This movie was beautiful. One of the best looking sci-fi movies I've seen in years.
Really?
It is soulless. It is a soulless. Every character's nothing.
Damn.
Such a waste because you have so many great actors in this fucking movie. And they got nothing to do. What a mess. Gareth Edwards, you're a weeb. And that's as an insult. Indie.
Yes.
Score.
D.
Yeah. It was very sad.
Not the worst indie.
Yeah.
But definitely it did not recapture the match.
I feel like it's kind of hard to be the worst indie, you know? The movie was kind of a mess.
The entire movie. That's probably the best way to describe this is a mess. Like the most charitable way.
It would have been an S if Ke Huy Quan was the
Dude,
next indie.
I was expecting him, especially after the success of everywhere, everything at all. Yeah. It was a shame.
That's a missed opportunity.
Yeah, definitely.
I wouldn't be shocked if they
Or
get him in somehow.
Even like Phoebe Waller-Bridge's character, she should have been Marcus's like daughter, like somebody that like has an emotional attachment to the audience.
Those days have come and gone. Perhaps.
All right, Guardians.
For me, I think this was a C.
Real what?
Yeah.
Wow, controversial opinion. I was gonna go A.
I don't
Split the difference in a B?
Yeah, we'll put it a B. Yeah.
Really? Why
Yeah.
a C?
I don't know. For me, it just kind of forgettable, honestly.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, you're in the hot seat here. Everyone thought this was like one of the best movie or comic
I'm not.
movies of
Well,
this year.
to be fair, I'm not a big Guardians fan in general.
That's fair. I thought Rocket's backstory was really great.
Yeah, Rocket's
and
backstory
I
was great.
hate fucking Bradley Cooper. We'll get to that soon. I think it was a good ending.
No, it
It's
definitely.
a good cap to this.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree.
I'm done running.
Next is Across the
Spider-Man.
Spiderverse.
So I'm the only one that watched this.
Yeah. S. Okay, yeah. I have heard that the first one and this one are like one of the best examples of animation, the use of animation.
I wish you watched it because I really would love to hear your opinions on it. In my opinion, it opens with Gwen's backstory, and the colors portray the emotions. We talked about this in Jujutsu Kaisen about how coloring, how things are shaded, palettes. It's really important, and the colors represent her feelings. And I think there's a lot of criticism of this film that how can a film that doesn't have an ending?
It doesn't have an ending.
It's because it's a part one.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. I did not know
Yeah,
that.
so it's a part one. So people are criticizing that. They're like, I can't make a movie that's a part one an S or whatever. Like, how can a movie that's like that
Incomplete.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But here's one that's gonna confuse all these people. Is Empire Strikes Back a bad movie because it's a transition movie?
It's terrible. It's the worst Star Wars.
Yeah, it's the worst one, right?
I mean, that's an interesting take on it.
Right? Did anyone say this about Empire?
I mean,
I'm just saying here. I think if you're going to have that criticism, then how can Empire be the best Star Wars movie? That's all I'm going to leave it at.
Search your feelings. You know it to be true.
Bradley Cooper time. Maestro. F.
really?
This
This was a passion project for Bradley Cooper.
I hate Bradley Cooper.
He's been working on this. I think he started
I
this
don't care.
before A Star Is Born.
I don't care. I don't care. I hate Bradley Cooper. Bradley Cooper is the most egotistical, vain, fucking piece of shit. This movie is literally just scenes of his giant ass face with like a pretty, in my eyes, anti-Semitic nose piece. But it's so obviously made to get Bradley Cooper, the director, to get Bradley Cooper, the actor, an Oscar. And it doesn't hide that fact at all. I think people criticize Terrence Malick a lot in his more recent films about how it feels like scenes aren't really attached together. But the way Malick does it is attaches things by emotion. Like you are right into the next scene emotionally, and all of the scenes, it just feels like Bradley Cooper threw a dart at a board and was like, let me throw a dart at random points in Leonard Bernstein's life,
Ah.
and those are the scenes that he.
So even
directed.
even for like a biopic
Awful.
standards, it's
Awful.
awful.
Awful. I don't even have Rustin on the list. Rustin was better, bro. I didn't even like Rustin. It was bad. It was bad.
Oh.
I'm never watching again, and now I know for sure I'm never watching another Bradley Cooper directed.
So you
movie
won't-
ever.
you
I'm
won't-
out.
you
I'm
won't-
out on Bradley Cooper.
Good. That's very good. Very good. Okay.
All right, next movie, Saltburn. TikTok is blowing up with this movie because the letterboxed one-line sentence reviews are going super viral.
Uh-huh.
For example, you bottom your way to the top.
Okay.
This movie is about how Jacob Elordi is so hot that he makes people insane. This movie is insane
In a good way or bad
in
way?
both.
Okay.
It's not a good movie by any stretch of the imagination, but it's a fucking funny movie. It's like a C. Like, yeah, it's like a C. Basically, Barry Keoghan pretends to be a poor guy, and he infiltrates this super old money family that owns like a castle, and he like basically kills all of them and steals their castle. And then he dances for 15 minutes in the complete nude with his dick flopping around the whole time. And
So why is that not an S? This should be an S.
And the funniest part is like, so some people don't like when people like say things during a movie. There's a scene where Jacob Elordi jacks off into a bathtub, and then Barry Keoghan drinks his cum bath water.
my God.
And then he like tongues the drain, and then the girl in the row in front of me goes, "You can get an STD like that," and I'm like, "Lady, that's the least of his worries right now. He's drinking cum bath water and tonguing the drain, man. Come on."
Okay, next one.
Anatomy of a Fall. This one's critically acclaimed.
So what?
C.
What is the anatomy of a fall?
It's the anatomy of the fall of both this writer, as in her reputation, in the fall of her husband from their house.
A literal fall.
A literal fall. It's very well acted. It gets to this French court drama, and it's the most boring shit I've ever watched in my life. Unironically. Maybe I'm stupid. I could be stupid.
Look, no, you are.
It's so boring, man.
Oh,
Barbenheimer, next.
Barbenheimer.
Barbie, where are you putting it?
A? What?
I agree. A. People look at it very cynically about how it's a Mattel commercial, which honestly it is. Like,
Yeah.
especially the third act, very Mattel.
Mm.
And no Will Ferrell being funny can save you from that fact. But there's touching moments.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think that because conservative men are so scared to see this movie, it clearly has done something right.
For something as absurd as the concept of a Barbie movie, this is, I think, the best thing you could do with it.
I mean, Gerwig's great.
Yeah, Greta Gerwig.
Yeah.
She was the right person for this project.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Next,
Oppenheimer.
Oppenheimer.
You go first.
I think an A for me. I'm very curious about you.
D.
Really?
Yeah.
Why? Okay, so we'll put it in C.
You can put in B. You can
put in B.
Okay, first you said A. Where is this in your like Nolan ranking? Is it better than Dark Knight?
No.
Is it better than Memento?
No.
Is it better than Dunkirk?
No. This is pretty mid.
Okay, so you see my point, right?
Yeah, but I like Nolan, even mid Nolan
is
a good film for me. Yeah.
The fact that Nolan casted recognizable actors in
Okay,
every single important role
that's
was so distracting.
yeah, that was really
I
distracting.
spent more of the movie going, "Oh my God, Josh Peck's in this movie."
My issue with this is that it kind of, for me, it feels like it doesn't know what it wants to be. Is this about Oppenheimer the man, or Oppenheimer the symbol,
legacy?
the legacy, or what he ushered in the atomic age? And what I mean, you can argue like it's about both, but for me, I feel like the reason why I wouldn't say it's all that memorable for a Nolan film is because it feels like it can't decide what it wants to be. It's constantly doing this black and white, court drama, and then it goes back into like the past. I mean, it's a very Nolan thing.
Talk to me.
Talk to me. A. It's trauma and drugs.
Okay.
But again, it has a really great ending, in my opinion.
Mm.
And I think that it's unique enough of a horror film that it deserves to be watched. And on to some sports movies.
I need the greatest basketball shoe that's ever been made.
Who's the player?
Michael Jordan.
Air. It's a C. Matt Damon was great in this. Viola Davis was great in this. Otherwise, pretty forgettable. This one feels like a substitute teacher movie kind of movie.
Oh, okay,
You know?
yeah.
It's like not great, but like it'll keep kids shut up for like class periods. I mean, that's good enough.
The hands that will deliver the iron claw to you.
Hey.
I did not expect this walking into this movie. It was emotionally powerful. It was emotionally moving. Zac Efron was amazing. Didn't think I'd be saying those words. I never thought I would care about a wrestling movie, and this made me care about these characters. But it's like all about how like toxic masculinity is a curse and like literally kills people.
Really, that's what this is about.
Yeah.
So our next film is Suzume. And as a big Shinkai fan, this was probably the anime movie I was most excited for.
Yeah.
I think for me, I would put it in a B.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
So one of my main criticisms for this movie is the same as Weathering with You.
Yeah.
Is that it for the message it kind of or like
It's
the
muddied.
themes
It's
muddied
definitely
and
muddied,
kind of
yeah.
all over the place. There's a lot of symbolism that I don't think necessarily works, but I do think that overall this film was a lot more cohesive than Weathering with You.
Every Shinkai film feels like it's a 311 movie now after.
Yeah.
After
I
Your
think
Name.
that is a very
And
fair.
I think what it'd be like if Paul Greengrass only did 9/11 movies after United 93. And it's like, come on, we want to see other stuff.
Yeah.
And I like the part of Suzume where she's kind of like traveling through Shikoku, and like I loved watching different parts of Japan and her interacting with people. And
Yes,
them
that
aiding
was
her.
my favorite part.
That was the best
Yes.
part of the movie. All the criticisms were for me are pretty much the same as yours. It's a B.
Yeah.
It's a solid B.
It's a good movie.
Yeah.
All right, next is The Boy and the Heron. So, Kurt, where would you put this?
I think it's an A.
A? Yeah, I would say it's an A. Yeah.
I feel like it's hard for me to put it at an S when it feels like a compilation work. This feels like it's the end. So maybe it is an S because
In a way, I feel like this whole movie is an allegory for his entire career.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's like it got the wind rises, it got everything.
Yeah, which is why I feel like it should be an S symbolically, but on a narrative level, I think it's an A because it is.
It's like a best hits.
It's
album.
a best hits album of his entire filmography.
The flame motif was really great.
That's one of the things that I really enjoyed about this film is like. And Ghibli have not lost their touch when it comes to animation. The way the fire was animated in the beginning is like breathtaking. The way trauma is depicted on screen through animation. Yeah, this is a good movie for Miyazaki to bow out with.
Yeah, I agree. Last anime film we're talking about is the Tunnel to Summer, Exit to Goodbyes.
Yes.
I'll let you go first.
All right. For me, I think it might be an S.
Wow.
Yes.
I would go B.
I love this movie.
Really?
Yes.
I thought it was super beautiful. You want an A?
Yeah, we'll split the difference in A.
Yeah. I thought it was super beautiful.
Yeah, same here.
It felt Shinkai-esque.
Which is why I loved it so much. You know, it's one of those things. I think this movie works great as a narrative, but also as a symbolic piece, as with trauma and that whole motif. I think it for me, it was the surprise of the year.
More people should see this.
Yeah, more people should see this.
Love Life is a B. Every character is a piece of shit in this film. There's cheating, emotional cheating, like the whole works, lying, but the framing in this movie is insane. The way that like the shots are staged and blocked, and you can feel the emotion from where characters are in the frame, and I think that alone gives it a B. Next is Monster by Koreeda. S. Best movie of the year.
Really?
Yeah. This movie is so slept on. I think people kind of, it's a tough one because people always are like, oh, it's Rashomon. It's Rashomon. It's a story told from different perspectives.
Okay. But so everybody has a different point of view.
Yeah.
Does this movie actually have like this is the thing that really happened, or
it says there's something that really happened.
Okay, because that
Yes.
was Rashomon. I argue is my least favorite
Kurosawa. Yeah.
film, and one of the reasons is like there is no satisfying answer.
It's a very film school like answer where you're like, oh, I like it because it's the multiple perspectives and an unreliable narrator.
Yeah.
This is not that. It shows how we as humans will always see the world differently because it's a lot about how these kids, because of Japanese society, especially her son, he doesn't feel like he can tell his mom.
Yeah.
And he can't really tell his teachers that either, and he's just failed really on every level, and no one's really at fault. And it's emotionally powerful. It fucking makes me. It made me cry I cried so much.
Oh, okay.
And it's so emotionally moving. I think it's one of Cordella's greatest works. And I think
it's high praise. Yeah.
Yeah, I love him.
Yeah.
And I think that this is one of his greatest movies. And people are like, oh, it's they look down on this movie a lot. And I think because they look too much at, oh, there's not a Sakura Ando disappears after the first half of the movie, but it's not her movie. It's about two kids and the complexities of being kids in Japan. And it's beautiful. It's touching, and all of the different perspectives just help you understand that you can't judge a book by its cover.
For me, it was an A.
Really?
Yeah.
I go C.
Okay, because I like we'll split it.
B, split the
B.
difference at a B. Yeah.
For me, at least, I don't have a lot of nostalgia with the whole Kamen Rider franchise.
Yeah.
I know we always make the joke where I hate Anno.
안노いつも안노 드세요. 안노와 안노도 알아봐 임시.
But I do like Anno's like takes on things.
Yeah.
And so the fact that they were able to do like this more like over the top modernification
While
of,
still being true to the
yes, that's what I want to expound upon is like the fact that you can tell Anno really loves Kamen Rider, like that he grew up with it as a kid, because they recreate a lot of the scenes from the original opening, and the mere fact that the movie ends with the actual original 70s opening is so great.
Good. And this felt like more of like, I love this property and I don't want to be too challenging with it. I just want to love and honor it, you know?
Yeah.
And that's fine sometimes.
Yeah, I think that's perfectly fine. And, you know,
it's just not as interesting as his other movies, in my opinion.
Godzilla Minus One.
So for me, I'm a huge Godzilla fan. I do have a lot of nostalgia for this, and I've loved it ever since I was a little kid. And for the fact that this is essentially a remake of the OG one, I have to put an S. I loved it. I loved it so much.
S, baby, S. In the original Godzilla, I think that it was so much focused on the researchers and people that actually had people that felt more involved. Whereas this time, Godzilla definitely felt like, I'm just a random guy, kind of. And how that affected the people, right? It humanized the crowds that Godzilla was stomping in the original movie. Because you got to see them, and I think that's really important. Sakura Ando, also great. Yeah. You know, we're big fans. And it looked good for being a low budget.
Yeah, it looks amazing, and I love the design of Godzilla in this.
And you are picky with CGI too.
I'm very picky, yeah. And one of the things that, for me, that really elevates this movie is that it went back to its roots, quite literally.
Yeah.
But the fact that this is now back to an allegory for the national trauma of Japan. Yeah. I think this is one of the best examples of it, because they're going with the it is the remake, but it's still unique in it itself to separate it from that. So for me, this is one of my favorite movies of the year.
That's fair. I think it's super solid.
The Holdovers.
The Holdovers. You're a big Paul Giamatti fan.
Yes.
I remember us talking about wanting to see this together.
Yeah.
I think this was one of the funniest Alexander Payne scripts. I don't want to really say it, but it was full of a lot of like erudite jokes.
I thought all the Nazis were hiding in Argentina.
Stifle it, Tully.
I just took a lot of joy in that. And Paul Giamatti's so great at executing them.
Yeah.
So I think this is an A. I would watch it again. It's a good holiday movie.
Sir, I don't understand.
That's glaringly apparent.
I can't fail this class.
Oh, don't sell yourself short, Mr. Coates. I truly believe that you can.
American fiction. I think this is an A.
Okay.
A high A.
I'm happy.
This is one of my favorites of the year. It's so fucking hilarious.
It's 8 in the morning.
I'm not flying the fucking plane, bro.
Again, we talked about in the diaspora movies how there's criticism that the white institutions that control a lot of what gets made want to see issues that are black.
They have a black book. I'm black, and it's my book.
You know what I mean.
They define what is black in their eyes, just like how they define what is Asian in their eyes, right? And it's basically, I think the most meta part about it is that it's a really, really great family drama, like Trojan horsed as like a race issues movie, when they probably wouldn't have made this movie without having the race issues part of it, which is like a critique on a critique.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Because I related so much with the family stuff. It's like a mother with dementia. Where do you put her? How do you care for her? How do you pay for it? You know that shit too.
Yeah, yeah.
It's super relatable.
Yeah.
That is not a thing that you need to be a certain, race or
Yeah,
ethnicity
yeah.
to tell. But financiers probably would be like, no, we'll pass. Right? And so the fact that it's a statement movie, Trojan horsing this really touching family story into it, critique on a critique. I love that. Killers of a Flower Moon. What are your thoughts?
Okay. Well, I think I like this a lot more than you did.
What gives you that idea?
In general, I'm a Scorsese fan. For me, he's knocked it out of the park pretty much every time. For this one, I did not like as much as The Irishman and his last one. So I would probably put it in B for me.
I was going to go C.
Okay.
I don't mind B.
We can put him B. I'm in general a Scorsese fan. I think he's not had a miss in his career.
Okay.
In general, I do like mob movies.
Yeah.
He's kind of the only one that knows how to do them right.
Yeah.
This is just an extension of that. But this is the one I agree with you with.
Way too
long.
Way too long.
Scorsese has a problem with too long with his movies.
Well, I think it's we talk about this is the George Lucas no pushback
Yeah.
era, and
Yeah.
where they're just like, I'm gonna do this, when maybe like 20 years ago they get studio notes where like no one's gonna watch this movie, bro. You gotta cut it down.
Yeah.
I thought so. Just like how people criticized Monster for Sakura Ando like disappearing after the first act. What happened to Lily Gladstone for 30% of this movie, 40% of this movie?
Yeah.
I thought she was so strong. She's great.
Yes.
I loved her. But she's like not part of the movie, which goes to my further point about this movie. Yeah, I don't think it's an excuse to be like, sorry about the genocide and that we didn't tell it from your perspective, but at least we got a little bit, right?
Yeah.
I take a lot of issues with that. It's not a bad movie.
It's not.
From just if we're looking at it in a vacuum.
Yeah.
Right? But because of all these things, and especially because Hollywood keeps going, we're diversity. Diversity. Oh, we love diversity. Come on. Like, Lily Gladstone will be rewarded for this film. Rightfully so.
Yeah. See, yeah.
I wanted way more of all those characters.
Yeah, exactly. For me, the highlights was the highlighting of the Osage, culture, the history.
Yeah.
And I think the Osage murders it's a very interesting story. And my issue is that I think they try to redeem Leo's character a little too much.
Yeah.
And
also, why did Lily Gladstone's character fall in love with him? I still don't really know.
Yeah.
Oh, you just called me a coyote, didn't you?
The Killer. I watched this in theater. Netflix movie. A. You know what? Fuck it. S.
Really?
Yeah, I love this movie. People hate this movie.
This one
is divisive, man.
I saw the clip of the one where he's doing this big monologue.
No one really wants to interact with a German tourist. Parisians avoid them like the rest of the world avoids street mimes.
Yeah, and then he fucks it up.
And then he fucks up the slide.
That's the best part.
I saw the clip and I laughed so hard.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
This is what it takes. What you must commit yourself to if you want to succeed. Simple.
Fuck. Because it's not actually about. Look, I know movies can mean other things. That monologue's not about killing people. You know what it's about? It's about making movies. It just keeps moving and moving and moving. You keep going. People say it's too standard, too whatever, not enough criticism. Bro, how he tricked Amazon and McDonald's and all these companies to be in this movie and give their branding, that's top tier.
There are 1,500 McDonald's in France. A good enough place to grab 10 grams of protein for €1.
Every brand that is shown gets made fun of. Amazon gets made fun of. It's like, it's so easy to murder tools into your closest Amazon locker. Like, it's so funny because you know that the Amazon, they're like, oh my God, we're going to be in a David Fincher film. And it's like, bro, you're getting clowned on.
Yeah.
It's so funny. I don't know. People are wrong about this movie. I think this is super rewatch. I watched it 3 times already.
Okay.
I love this movie. I love Fincher, just like how you like Nolan. Maybe that's why it gets the boost. Second favorite movie of the year.
All right, cool.
Yep. They cloned Tyrone.
This was another one I was interested in.
It's so funny. The director's like, I wanted to make a detective movie, but based on people that weren't detectives. So his detectives are a prostitute, a pimp, and a drug dealer. And essentially, he's like, I wanted to make a Scooby-Doo movie, and he makes a Scooby-Doo movie, and it's great. It's fucking hilarious.
How many adventures this bitch been on?
Again, really hilarious ending. Because the whole movie, you're like, who the fuck is Tyrone? Because none of the main characters are named Tyrone.
Oh, really?
And at the end, you figure out who Tyrone is. It's fucking hilarious. This movie is great. It's just funny, digestible, rewatchable. Yeah, and it's just like all of the jokes. Jamie Foxx kind of steals the show a little bit.
There's one important detail that you leaving out. We ain't no goddamn detectives. Let's cut it out. Let's just be honest with each other. You's a hoe. I'm an entrepreneur. Fuck me if you want to. And he's a goddamn drug dealer.
Just the bands. This movie gets an A because of bands.
Okay.
Dream scenario. D.
Oh, wow. I'm surprised.
This is a movie that... This is a role that only Nicolas Cage could have played. If I only watched the first 60% of this movie, it would have been an A.
Oh, really?
It just goes... It fumbles. You know how like when running backs, they just take off and then they just burn every defender?
Yeah.
And then they celebrate too early and drop,
Yeah,
fumble the ball before the...
Have you been dreaming about me?
Nick Cage goes into everyone's dreams and then bad things happen. Or it's not all upside.
Yeah.
And then like it cuts to the future where like they've monetized the ability to go into people's dreams and they play an ad and it's about like dream influencers going into dreams. I'm like,
this sounds great.
I'm like, what movie am I watching? This is not the same movie that
This
I'm
sounds
watching.
great, dude.
And I was like, this went off the rails.
It just goes. You're saying it goes too absurd. Or
It just doesn't feel like it fits within what they're doing. It's a movie about Nick Cage being really, really insecure about himself and his place in life, and being just like an average dude.
Guess I'll see you in my dreams.
Last one, we both watched it. Where are you on this one?
As a comedy, it's an S, dude.
As a comedy, it's an S, but it's actually an F.
But it's actually an F, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's an F. Napoleon F.
Ridley Scott, he's
Yeah.
keeping up with the disappointment that I've had for him in the last 20 years.
He's not a great director. It's unintentionally funny.
Do you think Ridley Scott accidentally made all of his best movies?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
This. See, when we watched this in the theaters,
Yeah.
We were the only ones cracking. Oh,
Yeah, no one else.
It was the funniest
It was
shit.
the funniest comedy.
I'm distracted constantly by the weird dialogue.
Oh, yeah.
This goes beyond like Lucas level dialogue. This this is
They just break out fucks and shit, and I'm like, what?
dude.
It's
well,
weird.
that and like, for going on to like, weird directing choices.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if the gratuitous amount of sex scenes was really necessary. Like I don't know what the point of this movie was. Like, was it supposed to be him and Josephine? Because there's a lot of this that that would have been an interesting movie in itself.
Which is very sad because Joaquin Phoenix and Vanessa Kirby are awesome.
Yeah, they're great.
Yeah.
Great. I mean, but can you give Joaquin Phoenix credit for taking stupid lines like "You think you're so great because you have boats"?
Oh, I forgot about that.
He says it so seriously, or like
300,000 souls live in the city.
They've all just left?
Yeah, it's a bad one. It's a bad one.
Which is a shame, because I was hoping it would be good.
Yeah. Yeah.
To me, to be allowed to do it is the most important reward. You know, I just love storytelling.
You've reached the end of the video. Kevin and I would like to thank you for taking time out of your day for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, consider giving us a like. If you enjoyed hearing us talk, consider subscribing to our channel to hear more of us talking about anime, movies, and other pop culture things. We really enjoy hearing your feedback, so if you thought my takes were too spicy, or if you thought Kevin's takes were too spicy, let us know. And we'd just like to thank you again.